Hi there, everyone. I'm Ashley Bullington, and welcome into the final episode of the Campfire. We've been going all summer long, and now we have some playoff predictions for you. Let's start it off with our film session.
Though it's hard to predict so early in the season who might make long playoff runs, it's pretty safe to bet that the Katy Tigers should go quite a ways. Gary Joseph's defense is just ridiculous, behind Malik Silla and Bobby Taylor. And once again, they will have a dominant running game with 1,700-yard rusher Seth Davis back. Add to that experienced junior quarterback Caleb Koger, and look for the Tigers to go deep in the postseason. 21-6A should produce a couple of title contenders in Atascocita and North Shore. Atascocita has the immovable object in the line in Cam Dewberry and returned Gavin Sesson at quarterback. Yes, North Shore graduated some of their big-time stars from the last 3 years, but John Kay's cupboard isn't bare. The Mustangs defense returns 8 starters that could cause trouble come playoffs. Other 6A teams that have potential of going far is Spring, Katy Tompkins, Shadow Creek, and Bridgeland. And 5A, the Manville Mavericks have all the makings of a dangerous squad. 2,000-yard running backs Ty Harris and Devontae Seymour lead the way on offense, while the Mavericks' defense is stacked behind linebacker Justin Medlock. Katy Pato may be a sneaky team in Division I. They have a great defense as well, as they return 8 starters and could make some postseason noise before going to 6A next year. In 5A Division II, you can bet Fort Bend Marshall will go a few rounds deep behind star wide receiver Christian Marshall. Looking at the small schools, El Campo and Belleville have the players to go deep in the playoffs in 4A, while East Bernard has a strong 3A squad that will look to avenge an early exit last year.
All really great teams, and those teams that we think will be making good runs in the playoffs also have some really great players. Let's see who we think will help lead their teams to victory and our players on the rise.
If Dickinson is going to make it past the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, they'll need tight end Donovan Green to lead them there. Green can simply make the tough catches needed to get by whoever the Gators might face in the second round out of 21-6A. He's been an all-district selection the last 2 seasons, and if he can get one-on-one coverage in the red zone, look for Dickinson to be a tough out. Bridgeland will need quarterback Connor Wigman to make big plays for them if the Bears are to advance past the 3rd round. Last year, Wigman threw for almost 4,000 yards and 42 touchdowns while rushing for another 9 scores. However, the Bears ran into a tough Heath squad last year and got bounced before they reached their goals. With a lot of his main targets moving on, Wigman will have to use his playmaking ability to get Bridgeland to a regional final. North Shore may have graduated a lot of offensive star power, but Denver Harris returns to lead a solid defense. Harris had 6 picks last year, including this one for a touchdown against Shadow Creek. They say defense wins championships, and Harris should be the man to help get the Mustangs several rounds deep. Finally, if Cy Park hopes to advance a couple of rounds in the postseason, they'll need 2-way star Harold Perkins to come up big. Perkins was a 1,000-yard rusher on offense, where he also scored 17 offensive touchdowns. However, at the linebacker position is where he's being recruited the hardest, as he made 47 tackles and 3 sacks as a junior. The Tigers will need his athleticism on both sides of the ball to make it far in the postseason.
Great players, and they are led by phenomenal head coaching. We bring in now Sean McDowell, the Foster head coach, who's going to be giving us some 5A playoff predictions.
All right, it's media day. I'm joined by Foster head coach Sean McDowell. Coach, we are talking playoff predictions. Way too early playoff predictions because we haven't even got this thing started yet. But in 5A in the Houston area, last year you saw Crosby come up out of nowhere and pull off 4 or 5 upsets to get to that final game against Toledo, which turned out to be too much for him. But what do you think about a team like Crosby or maybe another 5A team that could make a similar type run and sneak up on people?
Yeah, I think Crosby, man, has had a heck of a year last year with that quarterback and receiver, had a dynamic duo thing going, running back kind of, they just had it all together. I think they're going to be hurting a little bit with graduation, I still think they're going to be very talented. I think the team to beat in 5A Division II kind of thing is Fort Bend Marshall. I still think that they got it going. So I think they, if you look at the Crosby Marshall game last year, it was really a surprise. And I think Marshall maybe underestimated Crosby a little bit. But I think Marshall's going to come back with a vengeance. And so that's my favorite pick, I think.
Well, let's talk about some teams that is getting a lot of pub. Obviously, Manville out of your district, and Katie Patow, who's probably playing their last season in 5A before they get pushed up. What do you think about those teams, and could they possibly find their way into a regional final and whatnot?
Yeah, I really think that Manville and Patow are the class of the district. I think I'm not ready to crown anybody yet, but I think just looking at, guys that we look at as going to be big-time games, I mean, Manville and Patow probably are borderline 6A. I know Patow is for sure, but Manville's always kind of on that cusp. I think Manville has some challenges as far as who's going to be their quarterback. Pretty sure they'll find that one. But they've got a lot of returning guys from last year, and they tore us up. And then Patow, I think, just continues to get better each year as a program. They've got a lot of move-ins. Coach Gott and his staff do a great job. They're a physical team, which presents a unique challenge.
Excellent. And before we get to the playoffs, we got to do the regular season, which starts up in a couple of weeks. Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck throughout the season.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach McDowell, thank you so much for joining us here on the Campfire and for always being a good friend of Inside High School Sports. You can catch the entire interview with the Foster Headman on Thursday in our Media Day segment. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Now we bring in the Inside High School Sports insider, Matt Harris, for the District Breakdown.
All righty, it's District Breakdown time, and we're here with Matt Harris, our Inside High School Sports insider. We're done with districts, Matt, so we're going to do something a little fun this week. We're going to talk about who you think will make long playoff runs. Going through all the stuff we went through this whole summer, talking about all the teams. You've compiled a list of teams you think might go a little bit far in the playoffs. Who do you got there?
Yeah, in 6A, I think Katy has to be the number one answer. The Tigers return a ton of talent on both sides of the ball after dominating its way to the 6A Division II championship last year. Some of that talent includes quarterback Caleb Koger, who had a nice first year as a starter, running back Seth Davis. And they return a lot of talent on defense, too. Guys like Malik Silla and so on and so forth. There's so many. I'm going to – no matter who I mention or don't mention, somebody's going to be slighted because that's how much talent that they have. Now – there's a lot of other teams to mention. I'm just going to hit on a few of them. Obviously, Bridgeland was a trendy state pick last year, but they lost in round 3 to Rockwall Heath. They returned their best player, quarterback Connor Wegman, so there's that. I'm interested in Spring ISD to see who wins the rematch out of Spring and Spring Westfield after a fantastic game last year. And then obviously there's Atascocita. They return Gavin Session. At quarterback, they play in one of the tougher districts along with North Shore. In 21-6A. Just to hit on 5A real quick, we're talking about Manville, who returns running backs Ty Harris and DeMonte Seymour. Katy Patow, also in 10-5A Division I, with a really strong defense, most of a defense back. And then Division II, Marshall is always good. Crosby showed us that they belong last season, had a great year. And as a dark horse, I kind of like Montgomery with quarterback Brock Bolfing. But as far as deep playoff runs go, again, there's so much to talk about, but that's kind of what I've come up with.
All right, we will talk to you during the year sometime. I'm sure you're going to come on with some information down the stretch, so I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on this summer.
Matt, Wiz, thank you. Great insight as always. We couldn't have done the Campfire without you guys this season. With you guys on our team, our content goes from good to great. Jeff, thank you for all that you do behind the scenes producing, helping out with the Campfire and all of our summer action. And to you guys at home, thank y'all for tuning in. We wouldn't be here without you guys. That's all we have for the Campfire and our summer season at Inside High School Sports. We will be launching all kinds of great content for the football season that is right around the corner as Inside High School Sports starts this Saturday. So check your local listings for the time on that. Until next time, I'll see you soon. I'm Ashley Billington, and thank you for watching.